Hello everyone. Today we're going to be going over my computer science project for our Introduction to Computer Science class. And we're going to look into computer safety, safety for your home, and safety for your devices. So we're going to start out with picking our computer. I decided to go with the HP 24-inch all-in-one desktop. This is an 11th generation Intel Core processor, and it has 8 gigabytes of memory and 512 gigabytes of storage on the SSD. And we have a budget of $1,500, and I decided to go with this one because it's $700. So we have plenty of money left over, and it leaves us with a good chunk to invest in our router. And for my router, I chose the TP-Link Archer BE900. So this router has 24.4 gigabytes per second on the Wi-Fi, which is pretty fast. It works with Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant, and it's compatible with all other devices. It works with all internet service providers, and it offers TP-Link Home Shield, SPI, Firewall, WPA3, and it has parental controls. Now this is a pretty fairly priced router. It only comes to $136.99, so about $137. And that leaves us with a good chunk of money left to invest in other kinds of software that can protect our home. So I wanted to go into the justification for these two. Why did I pick these two? So let's start with the desktop. The desktop is supplied with Windows 11 software and 11th generation Intel Core, which can hold a lot of data and processes information incredibly quickly. It can also hold up to 8 gigabytes of memory and 512 gigabytes of storage, like I said before. So the computer can run fast and efficiently. It stays within the budget, like I said before, leaves us with $800 to spare on the router and the other add-ons. Its sleek build takes up only a couple inches of space, and it has a 24-inch touchscreen, so viewing is much more pleasurable on this monitor, and it's easy accessible. This device is secure against malware and is compatible with the router that I've selected. And for the router, this router works with the HP desktop, like I mentioned before. It falls into our category of a good router within our budget. This router is fast for its price. It has 24.4 gigabytes per second on the Wi-Fi, and it's compatible with many different systems, including our desktop. It comes with a good firewall and other security measures like parental controls, the TP-Link Home Shield, and the WPA3. I definitely think that this is worth the price. I think that you get what you pay for, and I think that this is a reasonable price for the attributes that it comes with. So now I wanted to get into the dangers of unsecure home networks. So if your network is not secure on any of your devices, there are a couple things that can happen. Hackers can be a huge problem, and this can lead to credit card theft, identity theft, data information theft. They can steal your identity, your credit card, and they can steal your data. They can sell your data to third-party members. And there is also the risk of password theft. They can steal your password information and unlock any profiles with the corresponding password to steal your information. Once again, they will usually sell it to third parties. Malware is extremely risky. Your devices can be affected by malware, and things like viruses, worms, Trojans, all these kind of different malwares can get into your system and can absolutely destroy any of your software that you have. Blackmail is also another issue. You can have your data taken over, and if there's something on there that you don't want people to see or don't want people to know about, they can use it against you. They can hold it for ransom, which can be a huge issue. And gaining device control. This is actually really scary. Your device can be taken over by hackers. They can use your camera without your knowledge. They can move things around without your knowledge. They can look into personal files without your knowledge. Overall, it's something that you don't want. But you can also lose data not just through hackers, but you can also lose it through device failure. So if things are not backed up, then you could potentially lose everything that you've worked on. And that would just be a real big bummer. So it's important to keep your home network secure. Going a bit more in depth into this, we have the CIA, or confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So the CIA is the triad of security in regards to information. So, for a security program to be considered complete, it must adequately address the CIA. So, starting with C, we have confidentiality, which is just protecting your information from misuse. Integrity assures accurate data from being changed, and availability shows an uninterrupted access to a system. So this triad is very important in order to keep your devices secure. So who is affected by this kind of malware? Who's affected by hackers? Who's affected by unsecure home networks? You start with the inner circle. So that is the stakeholder who is the first person who owns the device. They're the people who are usually the owners of the computers or the cell phones. It's usually their data. But then you also have the outer circle, and that's people that the inner circle knows. So, friends in your contacts or your email. You can accidentally send a virus to somebody in your email, and they would not know, and it could infect their phone, and the process just kind of keeps going on from there. So let's get into how we can protect our home network. So there are two possible solutions. This is the first solution. This is my personal favorite solution. So you're going to buy and set up the Archer BE900 router. You're going to change your passwords. You're going to change these frequently, and they're going to be different passwords every time. I would change them about every month or so, and we can go into password safety in a little bit later. Then you're going to invest in McAfee malware protection. And once again, I'll go into this a little bit later, but this is a malware software protection, and it is very useful. It's a little pricey, but there's a reason why. Then you're going to back up your data on the cloud. We'll go into this a little bit later, and then you're going to regularly update your devices. The second possible solution, the alternative method, is almost very similar to the first solution. You buy and set up the router, you change your passwords, but this time you're going to invest in private internet access, which is a VPN, and you're going to back up your data on a USB flash drive instead of your cloud, and then you can regularly update your devices. So going into the protection, you have McAfee versus PIA, which is private internet access. So McAfee is a bit more expensive. It's $190 a year, but it comes with so many different amenities that are, in my opinion, more worthwhile than PIA. So McAfee monitors transactions and credit. It gives you daily credit reports to see if anybody has been messing with your credit. It gives you insurance. So there's up to there's up to 25K ransomware coverage and up to 1 million identity theft coverage. Some insurance companies do not give you coverage for things like that. So investing in McAfee can cover yourself if your insurance does not. They also have security freeze, identity monitoring, password managing, personal data cleanup service, antivirus protection, a firewall, and they provide a VPN. They are compatible with all different kinds of platforms. So PIA, or Private Internet Access, is a VPN. This is $3 a month, and you can choose two options. You can buy add-ons or you can go without add-ons. So if you buy the add-ons, they're a bit more expensive, but not by much, only a couple dollars more. But the add-ons include virus scanning, a dedicated IP address, you can have unlimited devices, and you have in-depth privacy features. No add-ons will not cost you anything extra, so you'll have up to 10 devices. It uses WireGuard, and it has a huge server network. The PIA is a VPN versus a malware protection software, and I believe that malware protection software is a much better investment than a VPN. The McAfee comes with a VPN. And in my opinion, it just comes with a lot more amenities and it's a bit more expensive, but you really do get what you pay for. Now we're going to talk about the cloud versus the USB. So in the first solution, I have it where you upload all of your data to a cloud. So there are a couple of pros and cons. A con is that it requires an internet connection. You have to be connected to the internet in order to upload your data, and it can be hacked into if your password is not strong enough. But some of the pros include being accessible through any device. Accessibility is great. You're able to find it easier, and it goes into and that goes into the CIA. It's accessible through any device. And it also has automatic updates, so it keeps the system running easier and more efficiently. That is not the case for the USB drive. The USB drive is a part of our second solution. So while the USB drive doesn't require internet connection, it unfortunately can only be available physically. If you have the USB drive with you physically, you are able to use it whenever you want. But if you don't have it with you, you can't access your data. It can also be lost easily. It's a small flash drive, so if you lose it, there goes all your data. If you can't find it, if you misplace it, it's gone. And the hardware will eventually fail, as all things do. It will get outdated. It will maybe get too old to work anymore. So it's the weaker option here. And finally, we're going to look at how to create a safe password. So there are a couple points on how to have a password that will not be easily guessed. So don't reuse passwords. It's important to not reuse them because if you have somebody who guesses one, who knows how many other accounts they can get into with that guessed password if you've reused them. Make passwords unique with special characters, capitalized characters, numbers. So if you have what I like to call a keyboard smash password, which is just a bunch of different letters that are capitalized, lowercase, special characters like an @ sign or an ampersand, that will create a unique password that will not be easily guessed. Avoid using any personal information. If you have personal information, it'll make it easier to guess or hack into. So avoid things like your pet's name, your name, a year that you were born, your birthday, things like that. Change your password every couple months. It's important to change your password every couple months because if you keep them guessing, they won't be able to hack in. And finally, keep your passwords in a safe place. If you have it in a little book that you keep in your house, it will be much harder for hackers to find that password because it's physically there, rather than if you had it on the Notes app on your iPhone. That is all I have for this presentation. I hope that you enjoyed it and I hope that it's informative. Thank you.